interweb. Please ignore the mess behind you, as my room is not clean. I have been trying to write a review for First Frost for a really long time, and it's just not happening for various reasons. I have been working, and I have been creatively tapped for the moment, and I'm writing a lot of cover letters, which makes me feel dry and brittle and stale, and like everything inside of me is withering and dying because job hunting is the worst. So I thought, since I was doing videos for Emily, that I would just do one on First Frost, because I love Sarah Addison Allen. Words cannot really express my love for Sarah Addison Allen, because her magical realism literally just makes my life brighter. It's so beautiful and grand, and it makes me want to live in the South forever and ever and ever. If you haven't read anything by Sarah Addison Allen before, she obviously is a magical realist. She's written a lot of really great novels. First one was Garden Spells, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know how many she's written to date, but I've liked most of them. I think there was one that I didn't. And Peachkeeper I'm kind of like wavering on. I like it when I read it. I don't like the audiobook. And Lost Lake, actually, which is the last one before First Frost that she published, not my favorite until like the last 5 or 6 chapters. Like, it took me a really long time to get into, and it was boring and bleh. First Frost is not like that. First Frost is her first sequel. It's a sequel to Garden Spells, and in Peachkeeper, actually, you see Claire Waverly and Bay, her niece, as they cater a party, and the main character of Peachkeeper asks Claire for advice. She wants a guy to fall in love with her, and so she thinks that Claire can make it happen with food, and Claire's like, that's not how it works, sorry. But in First Frost, you kind of get to see them again, and the story is more about Bay and her mom than Claire, although it is a little bit about Claire too. It's about all of them, and it's great. Claire, if you haven't read Garden Spells, Claire makes magical food and falls in love, and it's great. And her sister does as well. And in First Frost, Bay is 15. She's going to high school, and Bay, all the Waverly women have a special gift, and Bay's is knowing exactly where things belong, which is a beautiful gift. I wish that I had it sometimes. But there's a kid named Justin, and she knows from the moment that she sees him that he belongs with her, and that she belongs with him. And he's really frustrated because he feels like he's being pushed into a corner by his family, that he's going to have to do this business thing, and that he has to act a certain way. And she writes him a letter basically saying that she thinks that they belong together, and that if he ever needs to talk, she'll be there for him, the front steps of the school, from a certain time to a certain time. And word gets out, and she gets made fun of a lot, and it's kind of hard for her, but she just kind of accepts it because that's who she is as a Waverly person. Her mom's gift is doing hair, and I can't think of her name right now. I just don't remember her name. If you know her name, you can put it in the comments. Thanks. But her special talent is hair. She can make hair look however she wants, and she wants to have another baby, and so her hair is turning more and more red as the book goes on, because she just wants to have another child, and she can't, or she feels like she and her husband Henry can't. I can remember her husband's name, Henry. Anyway, and then there's Claire, and Claire's magical talent, as I said, is baking. But at the beginning of this book, she started a candy business. She's making a lot of candy and is really unhappy in doing that. And kind of the climax of the book is where a traveling salesman tries to convince Claire that their mother was not her mother, that she was actually stolen as a child, because of the scam. And so it's kind of about who you are and accepting who you are and all of the facets of your personality, and just being able to say, this is who I am, this is me, and this is who I want to be, and it's okay. Bay has to go through that as a teenager in a high school where kids make fun of her, and Justin has to go through that as he discovers that maybe he doesn't want to follow his father's footsteps in the family business. And Claire has to discover that as she kind of freaks out that maybe she's not a Waverly, maybe the magic isn't actually magic that's coming from her, and it's good. The whole book revolves around the coming of first frost. So when the first frost comes, that's when the apple tree in the back blooms. And the apple tree has apples that will show you the most important moment of your life the minute you bite into one. So nobody ever eats them because who wants to know the most important moments of their lives? And as first frost gets closer and closer, the Waverly Women get more and more like antsy and like frustrated and just, life. I really loved this book. As always, Sarah Addison Allen's words and images just, they take you to another place. I highlighted a few stuff in my Kindle because I read it on my way to Chicago and while I was there. Um, so I'm gonna read my favorite quote. It happens in like the first few pages of the book. But Autumn felt like the whole world was browned and roasted until it was so tender it was about to fall away from the bone. And I love that quote. Perfect description of autumn. I have another one highlighted in here, but it's just a funny quote, and it made me laugh. I I think that this was probably my favorite one of her books so far because it is a sequel, and I'm all about sequels. I'm all about series. I'm all about learning more about characters that you've met before, and exploring different aspects of their personality and discovering them as characters. And so I I loved this because you already know the Waverleys, you already know their stories and their backgrounds and who they are, and this is like an addition to what you already know. And I just, it was so good. I'm so glad that I decided to buy it even though I didn't have the money to. And yeah, so definitely gets 5 stars. It's kind of it's an easier read. It's not a classic. It's not like it's gonna feed you for months on end like Anna Karenina did. When I read Anna Karenina, it was like gripping, and afterwards I was like, I can't read anything for a really long time. It's not necessarily what happened, but I couldn't read anything serious for a while because you just had to mull that one over. It's not exactly like that, but her books are like really good Southern cooking. They're food for the soul, and as you read them, you find characters that you can relate to and situations that you can relate to, and the little bits of magic that are strewn throughout are just stunning, and they make you wish that life was like that, and kind of make you realize that a lot of times life is like that, like little magical moments throughout your life that you can just grasp onto and hold onto as you go through your day. Anyway, so that was my review. I hope that you all enjoy it. I hope that you all go read First Frost and support Sarah Addison Allen as an author because she's fantastic. And if you want another recommendation by her, I would suggest that you pick up The Girl Who Chased the Moon, which is my second favorite, totally and completely. Love that book. I love everything about it. I've listened to it and read it like 8 times. It's that good. And I have no doubt that First Frost will be like that too. I've only read it once so far, but I'm excited to read it again. Farewell, book-loving fools, and happy March!